His hardcore supporters are still refusing to surrender as Libya's fugitive leader, Colonel Gaddafi, sent out an audio message angrily denying that he'd fled the country. Earlier, Gaddafi loyalists holed up in the desert town of Bani Walid fired a series of rockets at rebel positions several kilometres away. Live now to our foreign affairs correspondent, Jonathan Miller, who's in the Libyan capital, Tripoli. Jonathan, what is the latest in the hunt for the elusive audio tape issuer, Colonel Gaddafi?
Well, news from the front line in a second, John, but let me show you this first. News from the front page. Can you see that? A brand new Libyan newspaper out today, and its front page is "Wanted, Dead or Alive," and a photoshopped image of a craftily disguised Muammar Gaddafi sporting a Bedouin women's hijab and some green tribal tattoos there for good measure. Now, this newspaper is called The Mermaid, and it's named after the operation which led to the downfall of Muammar Gaddafi 2 weeks ago. Now, the brother leader himself, he rang into a friendly Syrian television station very early this morning, and he sounded distinctly unbrotherly. He urged his supporters to escalate the resistance to what he called the intruders, the rats, and the stray dogs.
To all our resolute Libyan people, the Libyan land is your own. Those who try to take it from you now, they are intruders, they are mercenaries, they are stray dogs. They are trying to seize our ancestral land from you, but this is impossible. We will not leave our ancestral land.
Now, my take on that is he's trying to sound increasingly like Omar Mukhtar. He was the legendary resistance fighter in the 1920s, the Nelson Mandela of his day in Libya. But I'm afraid Libyans don't buy that comparison. And down on the front lines in Bani Walid, where frontline commanders are increasingly convinced that the leader, the former leader, could actually be in the city still. There's been quite a military build-up there. There have been clashes overnight, an ambush, and today Grad rockets were fired at those revolutionaries on the front line. They are expected to try to enter Bani Walid within the next day or two. Now, one thing to add to all of this is that Mahmoud Jibril, the leader of the National Transitional Council, has arrived in Tripoli for the first time since the civil war started, and he addressed the Libyan people in a news conference tonight saying it's not over yet, and he urged all those fighters ranged against Gaddafi under the aegis of the National Transitional Council to stay together, stay unified, otherwise, he said, I will resign.
Jonathan Miller in Tripoli.